As the first anniversary of the terror attacks on two Christchurch mosques looms, the president of the Otago Muslim Association says everyday racism is still alive and well in the country.
Well, I mean, the fact that people believe New Zealand is not a racist place, they're probably living in a fairyland, because it is. I mean, there is racism because we experience it, being a minority of different colour, of a different faith, I suppose, of hitting a faith. So we do experience it, and we know there is racism.
He says members of the Muslim community report racist incidents to the police around the country prior to the attack that killed 51 people on March 15th last year. And members of Dunedin's Muslim community have experienced racism in the period since. It's something that also saddens the kaitiaki of the Aotearoa New Zealand Peace Embassy.
The thing that I think we need to be centering on, though, is post-racism. How do we get to this new place? How do we get to the promised land?
Mohammed Rizwan says discrimination isn't new to people who follow Islam, especially women who wear a hijab, as people see it as a mark of being Muslim. However, he believes one way to a promised land, as Gawley puts it, is intrinsic to the Islamic faith.
And another big part of it was moving on. I don't know if you heard the speech from one of the guys who actually gave it on the National Remembrance Day. It's about forgiveness as well. So part of moving on was, trying to forgive the perpetrator or what he did, because that's the only way you can move on.
He says the Islamic faith's teaching on forgiveness are integral to people finding a common ground to move forward. While as the anniversary approaches, Paul Gawley has a challenge to Kiwis from all walks of life about everyday so-called casual racism.
We will see the best and the worst of us in this year as people reflect on that and deny or agree about things. And the most important thing is, she said, I want to put this down as a word. Here is the challenge. What do you do today to improve everybody's life? So there's somebody I don't want to work with. There's somebody, for whatever reasons, we're at each other's throats. How about today I set that aside and actually think, I wouldn't be working with that person if there wasn't something for us both to share.
The National Remembrance Service on March 15th will now be held at Horncastle Arena in Christchurch instead of Hagley Park as initially planned. And as the anniversary approaches, Mohammed Rizwan says members of the community do still talk about the attack and don't feel the need of a special day to remember what happened on March 15th last year. In Dunedin, the South Today.